what leadership has to do as a strong business strategist and business coach. That's our conversation today on the podcast. Let's jump in. BJ O'Neill here with the Business Coaching Success Podcast. So glad you're here, where I share with you strategies, tools, and tips to be able to grow your business coaching practice to six figures and beyond as a Christian business coach. Let's jump in. Welcome. Glad that you are here. This is probably one of my favorite conversations, to be honest. And I'll tell you, if you are on our coaching team, regardless if you're new with us, you've been around for a while, I cannot stress enough that the journey to master leveraging you being a leader as a coach and strategist, as far as I'm concerned, that is truly the move. I have my notes here. We're going to jump in it. And honestly, today, I'm going to give you just a few points because I want to, I use a term all the time called word economy. I want to be able to just in a few words make a powerful impression as to one of the main, most overlooked, but yet prolific strategies, obviously done correctly, in being successful as a coach and strategist, and it is leadership. By the way, if you're not on our coaching team and you've gotten some emails, you've watched some videos, you're processing this whole idea of a done-with-you turnkey business coaching system, you just want to learn more about it, honestly, the best thing to do is just to book a quick conversation with us. We'll give you the whole picture of it. We'll give you some resources to go through so you can really kind of see for yourself and determine why it might be a good fit for you or not. We'll let you make that decision. You can go to businesscoachmastery.com. That's businesscoachmastery.com. There's some info there and a link to find a time for a conversation. Okay. Leadership. So here's the challenge. One, there's the metaphor about a compass and a weather vane, right? Whereas a weather vane leader, they shift based upon who they're around, the influences around them, who they're talking to. So for instance, they can go to one prospect to another, sound different, be different. They can be in a networking room over here versus a networking room over there, sound different, be different. But a compass-based leader points the exact same direction no matter who they're talking to. What's the point there? Well, when you have conviction and your sound and your guidance, and that compass is always pointing due north, it has the ability. Well, it doesn't have the ability. It's resolute. It's solid. It's foundational. That's the reason why, if you listen to enough of my podcast, if you watch enough of my trainings, I'm not going to tell you like 1,000 different things. I'm going to come back to some simple core concepts, and that is exactly what I'm doing here today because it works. And it prevents the challenge that a lot of those who start out in business coaching, we do have to get clients. And one of the biggest questions that I get all the time is that, how do I do, in quotations, lead generation? And part of the issue, before I really kind of dive into all this, part of the issue is half the problem starts with the narrative of the word lead generation. What you should start with is, how can I interact and engage with those to lead them and guide them so that every conversation that you have, it stands the chance to be drenched in strategy. It stands the chance to be drenched in provocative questions that are very conviction-based, eye-opening type of questions. If you just kind of lean in on the whole lead gen, that becomes now a sales cycle. And look, let me be very clear. Yes, you do have to have an effective demonstration to get someone to say, yes, I want you to help me. But when you do that from a posture of true service, you change the ballgame. All right, so here's one. We're not trying to impress, and again, let me context here, compass-based leader. when I'm engaging with a prospect and even a client and even just those in my network, my goal is to not impress them with advice, with what I know. It is to help them to see and to lead them and guide them to understand why systems and processes matter. Now, let's zoom out for a moment. We're talking about the voice of a strategist, the voice of a coach on what helps them to grow in profitability, perhaps even leadership, maybe even their culture, their business culture. A weather vane person is going to basically just adjust to what the business owner wants to hear. But the compass-based leader, what they're going to do is to bring it all right back to the center of what works, and that's systems and processes. That's the reason why in our coaching community, we have over 700 active coaches around the world. We utilize a system and a structure. It's an operating system that we install. Why would we do that? Well, as leaders, we're going to lead that business owner and potentially their team as to understand why the correct business strategies matter, when they matter, in what order, and why we kind of thread the needle through all of them and create an operating system. And here's what you do when you do that. Again, if I'm just giving advice, the conversation I have with them all the time is just going to shift all the time. It's just going to sometimes, pat them on the back, make them feel good. We're not there to do that. We're there to help them understand if you're going to grow, you have to have order. I utilize sports analogies all the time. Right now, as the recording of this podcast, it is training camp season for the NFL. Whether you like the NFL, whether you like football or not, doesn't matter. It's the time where these professional teams, players, and coaches make millions and millions of dollars. Fans will pay thousands of dollars to go see them and watch sports, or watch teams over the next 6 months. But right now it's training camp, and if you were to get on the field or pay attention on the sidelines to a team. I live here in Nashville, so we're fans of the Tennessee Titans. If I were to go to their training facility, I'm going to watch coaches coach and train players through a system of, they would call it back in the day, X's and O's, right? In other words, this is the play, this is the system, and you hear it all the time. That offense runs this type of system. That defense runs this type of system based upon the coach. Systems and processes matter. That's, again, why we have an installation of an operating system to work with the business. So the point is that I'm not going to adjust and change my conversation at all. I'm going to guide and lead as a compass to the business owner as to why the operating system and why the strategy matters. Number two. Well, before I go into number two, I want to just make sure there's a couple of things I didn't say yet. Here's one of the big things that happens when you do that correctly. And by the correctly, I just mean you stay on track. You're going to get what we call, or what I call, light bulb moments from the prospect, from the business owner, their team. And what do I mean by that? I am talking about like these moments where they're like, okay. You know what? I've never considered that before, or I didn't realize that, or I've never seen it from that perspective. That's a light bulb moment. And while we're walking them through strategically, step by step, and that's the way our software works to help the business grow, it's not just hypothetical. It's not that. It is truly a systematic approach. But we have questions that we're going to ask all throughout it that is designed for one purpose: to guide, to lead, to help them see what they cannot. Lots of business owners, this is super normal, by the way, walk around with blinders on. They are in operational chaos. So when we show up as a faith-driven, hearted individual to serve them, yes, they're paying for our services, but when we show up in a service-based mindset, it changes why we want to do it. Because when When they become more profitable, everything can change, or it has the option to change. Why? Well, money is a tool, especially in business. What would that look like? They could hire more people if they need to. Certainly they could pay them better, hire more talented and or more right fit individuals for the right types of roles. They can expand if that's, an option of desire. They could potentially, acquire their competitor. But none of that matters if there's not enough meat on the bone. In other words, profit. Profit is the domino that knocks over all of the other dominoes. You just can't do anything else without enough profitability. So these light bulb moments get attached to you as the leader and as the guide. That's powerful. All right, the next thing is, as a leader, again, our posture, we're serve-minded. We want to think win-win. When we say the hard things that a lot of people avoid, and by hard, I mean it's just candor. That's what a great, compass-based leader is going to do. It's like, hey, Phil, listen, I hear what you're saying, and this is how you're going to couch things like this. It's like, do you mind if I lean in and kind of share something with you that might be a little bit tough to hear? Well, those who care are going to say, yeah, let me have it. Now, that doesn't mean they might like love, but we can't risk not being straightforward and candid as strong, faith-driven leaders. I believe God rewards those who truly are willing, for the right reasons. We're not talking about gossip. We're not talking about drama. We're not talking about, just calling what they do ugly or whatever. We're talking about, look, I'm here for a purpose. You are investing into the growth of your business. I'm your agent and your guide to help you. But there's a few things that, I do believe that you need to really make sure you understand and know that's going to help you, even though it might pinch a little bit to hear. And that could be, things like their management style. They may just have this crazy love for their website that's horrible, that doesn't really do any good, right? And so now, again, we don't want to be ugly, we'll be rude, we're not trying to, none of those things. But a leader is willing to invest into their clients, into their prospects by saying the right things. The mastery here, though, is to do it in the right way. And that's just, there's no doubt that 20 years ago, maybe even 15, I don't know. I didn't do it right. And this is part of learning. And so I don't care what your age is. We have a lot of folks that are, on the back nine of life kind of thing. We have a lot, that are still learning this. And many of them had just never really considered it because they had just been kind of told and kind of led underneath just like a sales umbrella. So when you approach it from a different angle as a leader, it all has the opportunity to change. Last one. The posture in walking out systems and walking out structure and saying the hard things, the goal is to help them win. That's why when I'm candid, I have an opportunity to help them win. When I invest even though they may not be the greatest at implementation, I'm still going to say the hard things. It's like, hey, Phil, look, I don't know why I picked the name Phil. If your name's Phil, it's not intended. It's just the name that popped up in my head. It's like, hey, Phil, listen, I understand that the floor's got to be swept. I understand the payroll has to happen. I understand. But you must get committed to installing the correct strategies for growth. Otherwise, and again, depending upon where they are, they could risk, financial loss. They could risk losing an employee. They could risk, the competition just crushing them, or it may already be happening. You have to help them win, and you have to help them to see that the work that you're there to do as the coach and the strategist and the leader is to help them win in growing the business. By the way, one great thing, and I'll wrap it up with this. A great phrase or a style, at least you could put it in your own words. It's like, look, and it's just finding out these two things, and then you bring these two things up fairly often, not at a ridiculously annoying rate, but it's a good reminder. One, why do they have the business? Did they start, maybe they bought it, started it, inherited it, whatever. Why? Well, the vast majority of answers are going to be flexibility, freedom, and so on, but they don't have any of that. The second thing is, what do you want to do long term? I mean, do you want to just have a business forever? Well, most of them are going to want to sell it at some point or just, exit it. Could be passing it down to their children, could be, setting it up where their employees take over, 80% of the work and, it's part of a reoccurring revenue kind of thing. There's a number of answers. Well, here's the thing. As leaders, we have to help them to achieve what it is that they have the business to start with. Number two, as leaders, we have to help them fulfill what they're going to want to do with the business at some point. Sometimes the answer is, well, I don't know what I want to do with it in the end. Well, how about we work together on building a business that you could sell, but you don't want to? Because that's powerful. Knowing that they could just any day of the week wake up and say, hey, I'm ready to move on to the next chapter. Well, here's the thing. 90% of businesses can't do that because they're not prepared. Why? They're not focused on the right things to grow the business. So you, as the leader, you can call it business coach all you want, but if you position yourself correctly as a leader, especially a thought leader, man. And I tell you, your network grows differently. Your relationships grow differently. Opportunities will essentially fall in your lap in different ways because of how you are viewed. And this isn't about like you being like better than everybody else. This isn't about you, knowing more than other people. It just means that the reward shifts because of your posture of investment. And I'm not saying that it happens overnight, but it really can, because so many people are just, they're not wired to think like this. I'm just being honest with you. They're just not. And so when you do, and over time, your posture is so different than the rest of the marketplace, it draws magnetism. We teach on this in our system. I've created a training it's called the magnetic factor, all designed for this very thing. And so, by the way, just total side note, if you're looking at joining us, this is the style of training that we talk about. Magnetism, asking great questions, how to, work through challenging, scenarios, how to create curiosity, just all of these factors that go in together that creates this magnetism that props you up as a leader. And I'm telling you, it's not that you don't have to work hard. It's that the style of working that you do shifts because people really want to hear it. They want to hear from you. They're eager and they're interested in hearing from you what you have to say, because all of this together draws an emotional connection to you that changes everything. So there you go. Like, that's your goal. Your goal isn't just to get clients. That's a byproduct of being a great leader. The goal isn't just to earn 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand. That's a byproduct of being a great leader. The goal isn't just to coach with efficiency. That's a byproduct of being a great leader. The goal isn't to build a coaching team. We have coaches who build coaching teams. The goal isn't to build just a coaching team. That's a byproduct of great leadership. And it's a lane you choose to master, which you're never, at final completion, because the older you get, the more experiences, the more relationships, it's the constant refinement and whittling down and getting sharper and sharper and sharper as a great leader. And that gives you the ability to have a fantastic business coaching practice, live your dreams, have margin, bandwidth, the income that you're looking for, and so on. All right. Until next time, take care.